That's Noah, and he's sitting at my dinette. And that's where my new file server is about to be installed. But so you can see what's in here now. We have a cradle point, a surge protector, a subwoofer. Behind the subwoofer, or next to the subwoofer, where is it? Is the Wii Boost, right there, which boosts the cellular signal. So we're going to clean this up and try to fit the NAS in here.
You got more than just an AC outlet. They put a whole fucking junction box in here.
I'm thinking maybe I could just take this out completely.
Okay.
Put the UPS in over here, put the NAS right here.
Yep.
And then take everything I've plugged into the surge protector, plug those into the UPS.
I'm going to say no bueno to your idea, because then if you shut the UPS off, you lose the cradle point and the Wii Boost and anything else that's in there. There's going to be times
it does have surge only plugs on the back of it.
Yeah, but I'm guessing if you turn that button off, I bet that shuts everything off. I would probably leave the splitter in.
So unplug the sub into this?
Yeah. I think that's what I'd do.
It'd be nice not to have the cradle point reboot too, though, when the power changes.
Yeah, we can put that onto the UPS then.
Then the cradle point gets turned off. Ooh. It's it's one evil or the other, I suppose.
Yeah. And here's the other thing we could do too. It would not be impossible if for any reason that bothers you, we can always add another outlet or another 4 outlets or whatever.
That's a little tense for today, though. So before we go any further, should we open up the UPS?
Let's do it.
We're trying to think ahead about the UPS. See, when I switch from battery power to generator or shore power, there's a brief interruption in all of the electronics in that dinette booth, which would nail my NAS, and it wouldn't be very good for data integrity. So the idea is we want to come up with solutions to power off the hardware before I hit a long stretch of the road, but I don't want to have to tear up the dinette every time I want to do that. So we're going to see if we can wire in some clickers for the power button to that UPS there. So that's what Noah's doing right now, is he's looking to see what we can do, maybe hardware-wise and wiring-wise, to replace the power button with something remote, like a light switch or something like that I could trigger to shut down the UPS, which would then trigger the shutdown on the NAS. But we don't have any tools. We need to go get tools, Noah.
We need a screwdriver.
Back of the rental we go.
Sorry. The handles that you can...
Baird, we forgot a screwdriver. Alright, back to the RV we go.
Back to the RV.
You got a screwdriver this time?
I got a screwdriver. Alright, so we have the UPS here. And as you can see on the front of the UPS, there's a button here. And if I can't really demonstrate it to you, but it is a toggle switch. So if it clicks on and it clicks off, it's not a soft switch, it's actually a hardware switch. So my plan is to open this thing up and see if there aren't 2 spade connectors connecting this power switch, and disconnect those spade connectors, run the wires outside of the UPS, and then we'll put a switch somewhere on the outside of the dinette for Chris. So Chris's challenge to me was, can I get into this thing without tearing it apart? And if you look at the back, there's actually a ton of screws at the back. So I haven't looked this up, I haven't researched this, I've never taken one of these apart before. I'm just going to take a screwdriver, start pulling screws out, and hope that at some point we wind up inside of the UPS and access to that power switch. So let's get started. Actually,
you seeing more screws?
Not only am I seeing more screws, I'm seeing a screw that seems to imply
the whole thing just opens up.
Take this bezel off, yeah. Aha!
So what do you see on that switch panel there?
Alright, so first of all, taking the back off was useless. Secondly, we've got a connector here of sorts that has a bunch of these little wires, and I'm guessing this goes to this
LCD panel and button possibly.
Right. But again, this is just a physical button, so I'm going to take this panel off and see what's actually connecting that button.
What do you think?
I think they have sealed up these connections at the back.
I see that.
We may have to take this off a little bit to get to those solder joints. But oh, actually, it comes off actually pretty easily. Now the question is, which one of these is
the power?
Yeah, which one of these connected or not? And we can tell that with a multimeter. So we're gonna have to go to the hardware store to go get a light switch anyway. So we'll probably just pick up a multimeter and we'll be able to figure that out.
Do you think they're gonna have a good price on an Ethernet cable? Oh, Best Buy. If only you weren't so convenient. Grab the 25 there. Hey, no, you know what?
What, Lowe's?
Lowe's runs Linux.
Wired?
Well, the switch I'm really concerned about, and I'm wondering, do they have wireless?
No, it's gonna be wired.
Can I have it Bluetooth paired to my phone?
No, it's.
Do they have like a Hughes light switch we can get?
No, it's gonna be a switch.
Look at this. Why can't I just do one of these? Come on, Noah. Look, it's got an app. It's got an app, Noah.
Let's go, Chris. Let's go. You can pick any kind of switch you want, but it's gotta be a switch.
I don't really want a Bluetooth app thingy. I just like bugging Noah.
We're about to soldering iron. Have a good day, guys.
That guy.
Ooh, look at this. A butane one. I like that. Does that come with butane? Butane not included.
What's UT? Butane?
Butane, yeah.
Yeah, but they got butane right there. Back to Lady Jupes we go now to install the NAS and the UPS. It's a lot of work for this one step, but since it's something I'll be doing frequently, making it easy to turn the UPS on and off so that way when I'm driving it's not drawing from my batteries is actually pretty important in the implementation.
Alright, we're back in the RV. We still have this thing apart, but now
all our goodies from Lowe's.
We have supplies. So, the first thing that is required, any project working at Jupiter Broadcasting, I adhere to this strictly, is to take a couple of these and put them all over.
Amazing. Is this really happening right now?
Yeah, this is really happening. We just make sure that we zip tie all of this stuff.
Dude, why are you doing this?
We gotta make sure.
You screwed up Lady Jupes.
No, I just need to make sure that we zip tie a lot of things. That's step one.
Oh my god.
Save the rest of those for later.
I hate you a little bit now.
Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our multimeter and
Your shoes are making a lot of noise. No,
yeah, I know. Use the knife that I don't have, that Chris did provide me with.
Wow.
And cut into this multimeter.
Don't scratch my table, Noah.
I'll do my best. Alright, there we go.
It's hard to get good help these days. You want scissors?
Yeah, if you got. Oh, no, I got it. It's okay.
You want scissors?
No, it's alright. I got it.
Dude, I can't spend a whole battery on you opening up this box. Don't stab yourself. How about I give you scissors?
It's alright. I'm interested in scissors.
How about I just open up this drawer? Oh, okay. Alright. See, you didn't need scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Alright. Like I said, no scissors needed.
No. What is it, Noah?
Oh, you just, every time you give me crap about something.
Okay.
We'll just add another one there for good measure. Alright, so now that we got the multimeter, we can use the multimeter to find out which one of these contacts on this switch are closing the circuit. So a switch is very simple, right? The light switch is either on or off. And this switch is either on or off. And so what we need to know is which one of these metal contacts have current flowing through them when the switch is on and then off. And so we use a function called the continuity.
No, dude, no. No, dude. No, dude. No, dude.
How's the battery situation at Lady Jupes? There is a chance.
Probably
this
pretty
takes
good
a
one.
9-volt.
Mm-hmm. That might be the one battery I have.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think there's a chance. Now that we got batteries in the multimeter, what this does is this has a specific mode in it that when I touch these two probes together, hear that? And so what that's going to do, and I can show you on this light switch, so we know now that these two poles are what the switch is completing. So now the goal is to figure out which one of the poles on the back of this device are being completed when the switch is on. So we are going to solder two little wires to those connectors right there. I will take those scissors if you still have them available. Alright, well let me hold this flaming torch in my hand while I try to gently notch it down. So the trick to actually soldering and getting a good solder joint that is going to last for years and not just break off is we want the two pieces of metal to actually fuse together. And so the way that you do that is you heat the wire up not the solder. So what we'll do is we'll touch this to the contact, and we'll touch a little bit of solder to it, and then we'll actually heat these contacts up until the solder melts. And so the trick here is to get the wire to just kind of naturally sit where you're going to want it to sit, and that'll make it easier. Now this solder is still a little thicker than what I wanted, but it was way better than the plumbing stuff that the store had. Noah has not had enough caffeine today.
I like how you get the shakes when you don't have enough caffeine.
Yeah. But that, my friends, is a good solid solder joint.
That'll hold going down the road. Nice.
So now what we're going to do before we kill the soldering iron, which, by the way, benzomatic butene soldering iron, I approve. I used to be a huge Radio Shack soldering iron guy, and then I switched to Weller when Radio Shack started making crap soldering irons. I can get some serious work done with this benzomatic butene soldering iron. This is really good. I don't actually miss anything from an actual electric soldering iron.
And it was great for our situation because we're running off of batteries and generator right now, so we didn't really have anything to plug into.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the multimeter back to the continuity tester. Is we're going to push the button and see if it turns on and off, because if the button on here is closing and opening the circuit on these on our wires, then it stands to reason that whatever button I attach to the end of these wires will be able to close a circuit, right? So now, look at that.
So it's working.
It's working. And then what we'll do is we'll put the UPS back together and leave these wires sticking out, and then after we get the UPS there, then we'll plug the UPS in and test that our light switch actually is able to turn the UPS on and off. Alright, so we have everything technically all wired up. But before we get it into its final resting place, I want to take a moment and plug everything in, set everything up exactly the way that Chris is going to want to use it, and make sure it passes the smell test.
And we're also going to see how much power we're drawing, so before we put the UPS in, we know if it's just going to be too much load for the battery.
Right, that's part of your smell test.
Oh, okay.
Here's the switch.
We have our switch right there. For testing purposes, it will not be plugged into this power strip, but for testing purposes, there's our kilowatt screen, which has a polarized glass on it, apparently. See that? So we'll watch this kilowatt to see how much draw we get from the UPS as we test stuff.
Okay.
Alright, where do we start now?
Alright, we're going to flip the switch on. UPS powers up.
Okay, UPS is powered up, and kilowatt is saying right now it's drawing 0.77 watts. It just went down to 2 watts. I think we're about to see, there we go, 17, 20, yep, now it's jumping up. Now what we want to see is what's the idle draw, what's just its like, you know, just barely charging draw. Geez, that's not bad. 8 watts is doable, don't you think?
7.
So assuming, so then it would just be that plus the load of the NAS.
Right, well that's going to go up though.
Yeah, I know, but that's not bad. That's not much overhead as long as the batteries are charged up.
Yeah.
The downside is when those are depleted and the house batteries are depleted, how much extra work is this thing going to cause? But I think this is doable. I think this is the way to go.
Yeah, and I mean, always worst case scenario, we can always put another switch in, you know, and it could be even a remote one that cuts power to this entirely. Really, the purpose of this, we didn't really do a good job of explaining this, is the reason we went to all the work to making sure we tie into the actual power button of the UPS is we need to be able to shut the UPS down so that it doesn't alarm anytime it loses AC power. Now that we have the ability to do that, though, we could actually cut AC off to the UPS altogether. And there we go. I think that's it's installed, right?
Now we just do the NAS. Alright, so now we need to figure out what the kilowatt says we're drawing.
Kilowatt says 61 watts.
61 watts?
71. 72. 71.
Yeah, of course as the drives spin up, it's going to go up, right?
Yeah. And pretty consistent at about 65 watts.
Are all the drives spun up now?
I assume it's booting, yeah.
Alright, so our final total with the NAS attached and the UPS, how many watts?
65.
65 watts.
Jumps between 60 and 75, so we'll call it 65.
You think that's going to be too much?
No, I think you'll be fine when you're, you know, parked and when you're planning on it. I think that, you know, I mean, to give you an idea, your cell phone is half a watt. It's 500 milliwatts. You know, that your NVIDIA player is maybe 1.5 watts. So, and this is 75. You know, for one device, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of power. But, you know, when you're boondocking, when you have access to power, when you're running the generator, it doesn't really matter. Just the ability to be able to shut it down is going to be critical. So we have a continuous ping going to the NAS, and then what we've done is we've just killed the generator, and the UPS has successfully filled the gap of providing power to the NAS. Now the concern is, though, that every time the UPS tries to come back online, it detects AC power, tries to power itself back on, and then realizes there's enough power and then turns itself back off, and you can kind of hear that clicking back and forth. So it's
probably draining the batteries of the UPS pretty quick.
Right, and we're starting to think that maybe it's drawing too much power for this to be a successful operation. We don't know.
Yeah, as far as bridging the gap and shutting down the UPS when I'm running off of batteries, this is going to work. But I think for a long-term solution, what we really need to do is wire the QNAP into the DC power of the RV, and then the whole house is like the UPS. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a future project.
Future project.
As we like to say, that's a problem for future Chris and Noah.
All things considered, we're going to call this a successful venture. We have things working to the point that Chris is able to use the NAS inside of his RV when he's parked and when he has to transition to on the road time. So now, time to take a trip, make sure everything works the way we think it's going to.
There you go. You'd never know there's 24 terabytes of storage into that dinette.